South African sex workers are taking the government to court. My brother, this is crazy. Yes, they're taking the government to court for a law that is not good enough for them. There's one thing I like about South Africa. Those people have freedom, okay? If it's not freedom, okay, I know many people may argue saying that, yeah, they don't have the land is still within the white man and stuff like that. In South Africa, there are many things you can do in your country, in Africa, you cannot do. Many countries in Africa. Like in South Africa, you could wear a t-shirt that says, F the president. And nobody's going to come in the street and trying to take you by force, put you in a taxi van or whatever, soldier truck and take you to a camp and you disappear. You will not see that. People have a level of freedom to express themselves. Sex workers, let's get back on track. Sex workers in South Africa are standing very strong. They have filed a lawsuit demanding a repeal of a law that criminalizes prostitution. Yeah, I'm not going to say the full words. They're filing a lawsuit demanding a repeal of a law that exists. A law exists that says you cannot sell yourself like that. Okay, you can't do it for money. Yeah, but they going to file a lawsuit against that so they can have freedom. The applicants argue that the criminalization violates rights to equality, dignity, and access to health and safety protection. So they said, by you refusing me to do my job, you are violating my rights. Is this correct or not? I mean, I want you to stay, sit down. Don't go away. Where are you going? Where are you going? What's up? I'm Zack. We know each other, right? Sit down. We need to talk about this. This is very interesting. I know you're used to geopolitics when you talk about Russia bombing Ukraine or Burkina Faso chasing Americans. No, we need to talk about this. This is social issues that are very, very important for you and me and all of us so we can understand where we're going. Now, let's talk about our sister sex workers. Yes, they are our sisters. You can't just pick and choose your sisters. They challenged the constitutionally 1957 Sexual Offense Act. So, in the Constitution of South Africa, they have an act that says, offering, selling, soliciting is a crime. You're going to go to jail for it. They say that law violates their right to equality, dignity, and access to health and safety protection. Let me explain. Now, these ladies did not go by themselves. They went with an organization, an NGO. They say they will present evidence that sex workers do not trust the police, and evidence that violence and rape that, sometimes they get taken by force, can be perpetrated by the same people. They say, not me, they say they can provide evidence of that. How do you feel about this? Do you feel these people should be allowed to do the job? I know you're probably an engineer and a doctor that watch us. And I respect that. It's a beautiful thing. And usually when you see somebody selling themselves, you hate that, okay? But do they have the right to do that? Okay, let's say you don't like it because of whatever reason, your morality on something. Should they go to jail for that? What if that is all they have? Should they go to jail for that? Let's see now, why should they be protected? Why should they be protected? Most African countries actually do criminalize that activity. It's a crime through enforcement. Some countries in Africa permit you to do so. This is what they're saying. They say decriminalization is not just a legal issue. For them, it reduces violence against the workers. Why? Because sometimes, some people leave their homes because the woman didn't want to give them some because he misbehaved, went to the street looking for, and they will do their business and not pay the person. And when the person wants to react and do something about it, they get beat up. Now, when you get beat up in those situations, what do? You run to the police. You don't. When you run to the police say, oh, so you were selling. Since you were selling, you're into jail. And those kind of situations are not reported. And I know you will say, yeah, why were you selling yourself? Well, not everybody has the same. Look, let me put it this way for you. As much as you may judge people, you should be judging also the clients. Well, what about the client? The clients are your cousins. The clients are your brothers. The client are your boss. Have you seen the people that pick women up in the street? Have you seen them? Many marriages are stable today because men are accessing women in the street. I know that's a conversation you don't want to have. Listen, many marriages are surviving right now. It's because those men have access to women outside. So the woman in the house, her job is to talk about how to run the house, how to take care of the kids, how to pay the school fees, how to get the groceries. Anything that has to do with intimacy, it's not her anymore. Because she's uninterested, she's tired, she doesn't actually want you no more like that. She doesn't see any sexiness coming out of you at all. Many men suffer from those situations and they have to go help themselves outside. Some will get into relationships and some feel that the relationship is too much because it's going to bring mayhem in his house, right? Havoc. So to avoid the disrespect, and I'm not saying seeing a hooker is not disrespectful, to avoid the direct disrespect from another girl, potentially calling the woman in the house or whatever, they will choose to go to the street. So as much as you will blame those girls, go find men, well, are the numbers of men and women the same in the world? Are they equally quantifiable? No. You know, who are more? I believe there's more women than men, right? Now, even if they were equal, do you think everybody would be compatible with somebody? No. Now, these women that are selling themselves, are they selling themselves because they want? Not necessarily. Not everybody. I think some of them are going through a very difficult situation. Some of them are doing it temporarily. Look, don't judge me. I know a lot of people here will speak out, you know, coming from your morality, from your religion, from your belief, from your tradition. That is just an opinion. Your religion is your opinion spiritually. Your tradition is your opinion traditionally. Your mindset is your opinion. It doesn't apply to everybody. Why is this criminalized? Does decriminalizing making it more open and more traceable? Well, there are countries that decriminalize it. I mean, you have Germany, it's legalized. In Germany, you can work as a, you know, provide for your family as selling your body. I know you don't like it in your religion, but who chose your job for you? You know, it's not your body. I'm just saying, I get you. I get you want to get everybody out of whatever, but it's not your responsibility. In Germany, it's legalized. In Austria, it is legalized. Actually, in Austria, it's legal, but provided you do the health test every month, make sure that you provide everything. Check and regulation. You need to register. In Switzerland, you need to register, okay? And pay tax. So people that operate in that business, because it's a business, pay tax. And it's good for the country. Well, you're saying this is you're probably saying this is a European thing, you know, whatever. No, it's not. This is the oldest business in the world. Matter of fact, there are African countries that have legalized this. Yes, you didn't know that, eh? You didn't know that. I know a lot of Africans are hypocrites. I'm sorry. So don't feel insulted. Hypocrisy is you want to act like, yeah, why they're doing that? But in the same time, you're not even faithful to your wife. I'm sorry. That's the truth. There's no difference between you going to find a girlfriend and you paying for a woman. There's no difference. If you don't live in a situation where polygamy is authorized, it's legal. You going to see another girlfriend and finding a woman in the street to whom you're providing some money so she can feed the kids, there's no difference if it's criminal. Do you know Senegal? Well, this is Senegal. Senegal is legalized, okay? It is legal, it is regulated, and workers must register. So all workers must go register somewhere so they are known. Now, when they are known, this is legal since 1969, okay? 1969, Senegal, an African country, you must go register. When you register, they know who you are. If you're in danger, somebody can save you because they know you, they can trace you. I mean, these are people that realize that human beings have needs. Why don't you criminalize smoking? Because what's the difference between that and smoking? If one lead to distraction, then all of it lead to distraction. There's no difference. Why is that different from drinking alcohol? I'm just asking. Let's be honest with each other. If you think that is immoral, then drinking alcohol is immoral, because when you drink alcohol, you lose your mind, you do bad things. That's why they fan you when you're driving and drinking. That's why in church they don't want you, because you're smelling alcohol. You know, many people that drink, they can go beyond the normal. They can start fighting. They can do damage. Now, how much damage do you do if you sell yourself? I'm not advocating for this. I'm just trying to put another perspective. I know it's very difficult with black people to resonate in different poles. You want people to think like you. When they think like you say they're smart, they're intelligent. That guy, I like him, he's very intelligent because he thinks like you. As soon as he starts thinking in a different way than you, I used to think you were intelligent. No, are you the thermometer of intelligence? Are you the one that distributes intelligence to people? So if it's your way, it's intelligent. If it's not your way, it's not intelligent. Who are you? In Senegal, they have requirements. The worker must be at least 21 years old, to make her own decision. Number 2, must register, but the police, she must register, must undergo monthly medical checkups, okay? Must check up, make sure nobody with no bad things, whatever, even though they continue to protect themselves. Number 4, must carry a carnet sanitaire, which is a health card, all the time, proving she's screening for those transmittable stuff. She must carry that. So this is Senegal. They will come and control. Show me your card. Show the most recent. Have you been screened? You know what I'm saying? Fellas, Senegal system is designed to reduce the spread of the disease, okay? And other diseases. Registered workers receive free plastic or whatever you call it, rubber, and treatment if they get positive. So because you register, you get treatment for free. Is that a bad thing? I'm just asking. Because you still do it anyway. You act hypocrite. You never do that. You commenting it. You are the one in those nice cars going parking in those streets. We see you. The country has one of the lowest HIV in the world. Senegal, one of the lowest in the world. One of the lowest in Africa. Now, many people attribute that because of this policy. They are open. Okay? Open, but follow the rules. Go register. Go get tested. Get a health card. You go every month, Now, this is very similar to doing this. I'm just asking, why is illegal? Have you ever thought about it? Like, because who does it destroy? It seems to be destroying the person that does it. Yeah, there are other things, alternative, but I'm asking, why this illegal? Why can't they just sell it in a shop like they sell beer, like they sell other things? You see, brother, here we think we don't bring religion and belief, personal belief. You can keep it in your bedroom. We don't want to hear about your religion. We don't want to hear about your morality. We don't want to hear that. Here we want to think about facts. That's all we care about. Now, if you want to associate with your religion, that's your prerogative and perspective. And we are not advocating for those people. Or I'm advocating thinking, free thinking, understanding. Put yourself in that person's position. Do they have the right? Okay. Can a man want another man? In most of you don't like it, right? I understand that. Okay? Now, should you beat that person because you want another? You know what I'm saying? That's where we are. You may say no to the fact that they're doing that, but should you be also one of the people that say you must unalive them because they're doing that? I don't think so. Now, you're asking yourself a question. We're asking questions here. Why is this authorized? Okay? Well, there are some reasons. There's economic and political interest. There are reasons why this is authorized, and workers are not authorized. You must understand one thing. Drug prohibition supports massive budget for law enforcement and border control and incarceration. Okay? Let me repeat myself. Drug prohibition supports massive budget. A lot of budget come out for drug prohibition. Where does it go? In law enforcement, border control, and incarceration. So there's a major business into getting money from the government to protect people against it. That's one of the reasons why. There are many reasons. Are we together? So if you make it legal, we're talking about law enforcement, border control, incarceration. They will not have money because they don't need that money. So if it is unlawful, then they're going to get big budget. So follow the money. In America, for instance, it also fuels private prisons. In the US, you have prisons for the state, and prisons actually belong to private institutions. Yes, in America, some prisons are run by private capital. Okay? Yes, people making money out of people being in jail. Imagine. They want you to be in jail. I mean, if we're making money out of you, how do they make money out of those people? They want you to be in jail. Now, if I'm making money out of you, would I want you to be out of jail? No. How are they making money? Because prisoners in America, some of them at least, work for big companies. They work for Walmart. They work for the company of the guy you don't name, the guy with the computers. They work for many companies. Okay? Why? Because it costs less money to pay a guy from prison than paying an African-American guy in the street. So let's get the African-American guy off the street and put him in jail so we can pay him less. It's a business. It's a business model. Now, some argue that prohibition is sustained not because of the work, but because it's profitable for certain sectors. Now, this is very valid and very similar to what's happened with security guards. Some countries have a lot of security guards. Now, my question is this one. If you have a lot of security guards, would you want the country to be at peace? Do you really want to end security problems? I'm just asking. If security guard companies are making a lot of money out of protecting people in a neighborhood, okay? getting contract with big companies to protect the money, living from one spot to the other. Do you actually need to find a solution that is related to security? I don't think so. The only solution is to provide security guard so you can make money. You don't want to send people to jail forever or do the, what do you call it, the capital eye for eye, whatever you call that thing. When somebody unalive somebody, the death penalty. Why don't you use the death penalty? Some of the countries don't use like South Africa, death penalty is removed. Now you must ask yourself a question: is there somebody profiting from this? I'm just asking a question: are the people profiting from this? Because if there's death penalty, people are scared to shoot other people because they know if I shoot, I'm gonna be shot or electrocuted, right? Now let me rather not shoot. Okay, let me steal and not shoot. Now people shoot each other bad in South Africa, but the death penalty was removed by Mandela, because black people suffered. But today, crime is continuing. People are suffering. Blacks and whites are being hit. Why are they using death penalty to reduce? It's going to drastically reduce the problem. No doubt about that. People will think twice. Well, there's a lot of security companies as well. You must remember that. South Africa has a lot more security personnel than both the army and the police combined. So people, jobs daily is to protect other people. Now, do you think they want to resolve that? If you resolve that, where do the money come from? Let me know how you feel about this. Should you let other people make their own choice? With this regard, we're talking about selling themselves. Or should you criminalize it? Do you understand that they have the right to do their own thing? Because, yes, we like your morality, but they don't care about that. They want to provide their service. And trust me, they have a lot of clients, including your boss. Let me know how you feel about maybe your husband. That's why you have a marriage that's working. God bless.